Morning. It's actually 6:15 and I am heading to Dublin today, so I'm going to bring you with me. I hope you enjoy it. I am going on a train, so I've got loads of knitting, so I'll show you what I'm working on. I am working on my new sweater project, which is the sweater number 18 by My Favourite Things Knitwear. It's an oversized kind of sweater that's textured, so I haven't really done many textured sweaters before, so this is kind of something different for me. So far I'm really enjoying the construction, and I can well, hopefully you can see, I'm holding two strands together. I'm holding a strand of my undyed Causeway yarn and a strand of my natural sock yarn, which is dyed a very light off-white with a pinkish tone to it. I have to get 2 trains to Dublin, so this is the first train to Belfast, and then after that I'm going to be getting on the Enterprise. So I'm really enjoying the textured stitch on this, because it's knit flat. You do actually have to think quite a bit about what you're doing, although it looks quite simple. There's increases and decreases as well. The construction is started with the back, which is like the vest I'm wearing here, which is also by a design by My Favourite Things Knitwear, and it's constructed in the same way, so I'm guessing it's going to be pretty much a similar construction, only picking up for the arms. And you can get a kind of look at the texture here. I think I'm about to whip out my swatch, I can't remember. I'm also reading oh, there's the pattern, Gardener's World magazine, which is a great read if any gardeners out there want any recommendations. Just a little bit of countryside, it's really difficult to see. And here is the Harland and Wolff famous yellow crane, if anyone recognises it. This is me just kind of pulling into Belfast now, and I'm just gonna put on some music and you can chill and knit with me for a little bit. So my reason for going to Dublin was to meet a friend there, and we are planning on going to This Is Knit, and I'm just going to show you a few sights of Dublin, and then my projects on the train, and a little bit of what's going on out the window, and a funny story at the end as well about someone I met, so you'll want to stay tuned for that. It's hilarious. I managed to meet my friend, and we found a little cafe above a bookshop, which was a really good bookshop that I can't now remember the name of, but this is the interior of the cafe, and it had these amazing stained glass windows. Then we hopped over to have a look around Trinity College, which is very beautiful, and then we started making our way to This Is Knit, which is in Parscourt Townhouse, which is very beautiful. Apparently it used to be someone's house, which is crazy. And shout out to the Barcelona ladies who recognise me in This Is Knit, so this is a big hello to you. And this is a little bit of what the interior of the shop looks like, and I did make a small purchase of some needle some knitting needles and some knitting needle accessories. They had lots of beautiful yarns, and it was actually quite hot in the shop that day. It was absolutely packed. They had a lot of beautiful samples knitted up, which was really interesting. And then we just popped over to a little gift shop. They had all these woolen blankets. Then we had a delicious lunch in a tapas place, and there was some lovely red wine and some really nice prawns, which I would never go for, but they were amazing. And this is us just walking the streets of Dublin. It was just nice to be in a busy, bustling city with loads of interesting old architecture, and it's nice to be somewhere where there's a bit of a buzz about the place, because where I live, there's no buzz usually. And this is the bridge. Is it the Halfpenny Bridge? Is that what it's called? I can't remember. I'll put it here if that was wrong. And yeah, it was I had a lovely wander around the city, and I'm basically getting ready to knit my way home now. And I have a different project to show you on the way home. I started a new project with some of my natural sock yarn. It is the Candlelit Banquet colourway, which I saved a skein of from the last Christmas update, as in 2022. And I'm only now knitting a pair of socks for myself. I am holding it double and making a thick sock. I cast on 44 stitches, and this is me knitting my way to Newry at this point, I think. And I got on really well with the sock. By the time I got off the train, I had made it to the toe decreases, which was amazing. So, funny story, I'm on my way home, I'm minding my own business, I'm knitting away, and this man comes down and sits at the table that I'm at, and there's another man sitting there as well. He's kind of drunk, I think. He said he was out for the day to Dublin, and he kept trying to crack all these jokes, being like, I told my wife I was going out for the day, but I didn't tell her I was going to Dublin, ha ha ha. I could write 20 books, with all the places I've been all over the world. I could tell you a lot of stories. So this went on for a while, and then eventually he says, I was a painter and decorator, I did that for so many years, can't remember how many years he said. And he said, I got held hostage, in Baghdad by when I was painting Saddam Hussein's palace. And I was held hostage there for 5 months, I could write a book, I thought this here boy's either really drunk and trying to pull my leg, or he's just telling a big fib. So anyway, as soon as I got home, I did a quick Google and found out that it was actually true. He did get held hostage in Baghdad while painting Saddam Hussein's palace. How crazy is that? The firm he was working for at the time, Myvan, sent people all over the world to do all sorts of jobs. And that's why he said he'd travelled the world and he could write 20 books and all. And yeah, him and 4 other men from Portadown who were painters and decorators ended up getting held hostage for 5 months in Baghdad because Iraq invaded Kuwait, and Saddam Hussein halted their visas, so they couldn't leave the country. And they couldn't really make telephone calls really home, and this was all happening in around 1990. And I found a whole there was a program on the BBC about it. It's not on the BBC anymore, but one of the guys from the documentary, he actually has put it on YouTube, so I'll put it in a link below in the description. It's actually a really interesting story, and I would recommend watching it. It's fascinating. But yeah, the guy who sat down beside me was called Peter McNally, and you would never know from the documentary, he's a wild gansh. That's what we say around here when people talk a lot. But you wouldn't know, they must have edited it a lot, but it was very funny. But I did end up having to escape the carriage and get on another carriage just to give my head peace, So It was an interesting story, but I managed to find a little bit of quiet space to knit on the way home and think about this crazy story. Just want to quickly show you in better light what I bought in This Is Knit and also what I was working on the train. So this is my sweater that I was working on. I've done a little bit more since the last time I showed you. So this is the back here, and this, I've done the 2 shoulders now, so it does fit over my head, quite stretchy. And I ended up, I don't think I did show the swatch in the video on the train. This is the 2 yarns held together. It's really lovely combination of yarns, so this will sit a lot nicer once it's been blocked, and it'll be a lot more drapey. Here is, oops, needle in hair, the 2 yarns that I'm using together, and it definitely does create a really nice colour. So I'm really pleased with how that's looking. My other project is in this little bag. It was designed by Alex Collins for my shop, and it's a little sock size bag. So this is the socks. I just did a 3x1 rib again in the Candlelit Banquet colourway. You can kind of see the speckled colour there, and a little Progress Keeper by Chapel View Crafts. And I'm knitting these on 2.75mm needles. So whenever I went to This Is Knit, I want to get a couple more pairs of these needles so that I could have a couple of pairs of socks on the go at once. So I got a pair of 2.5mm needles and another pair of 2.75s. I got one of the cables that's in the sweater at the moment, so I just got another cable for my Chagoos. That's for the small size, and then I got another mini cable because I never seem to have enough of these, and I got a little interchangeable adapter from small tip to mini cable, so that's another useful thing as well. So no yarn, didn't need or see any yarn that I wanted. I have plenty of my own yarn to be getting on with, as you can imagine, I'm sure. And I'm really enjoying these 2 projects, so I hope you enjoyed that little random vlog with a funny story and voiceover. I'm gonna link that story for you below, and until next time, bye.